I understand that. 50-50. One of the things about down, like today, you'll get those big puffy clouds. We as astronomers call those sucker holes. What do you mean? You're out there with a telescope trying to show somebody, and it clears off, and then somebody comes up and looks with the telescope the whole time it's clear, and the cloud comes back up, and everybody else are suckers because they're standing behind you going, well, I didn't get to see it. And you get very frustrated with that because everybody gets mad. I didn't get to see it. So, but that's, you have a 50-50 chance. I would suspect you're probably going to be able to see it on and off with clouds going through. Having a completely overcast day here isn't that common at that time of the year. By the way, that's the Saturday of Shrine Fest. Just to let you know. See, I got a plug in there. So, here comes the moon. Of course, it's dark. It's going to come into the sun, come across, reach its maximum, right at that white dot at the bottom. Stop for just that's maximum, about 74%, and then slide back off. That's an eclipse. Now you say, well, what about, can't see the moon, we're looking at the dark side. Okay. If you like the dark side of the moon, you can do Pink Floyd.
So you say this is all 3 hours?
Yeah, it's about 3 hours and some odd minutes, yeah. Some of them can be like watching grass grow. You know, when you have a lunar eclipse, I always tell people, you know, either have some really good beverage company or go in and watch some TV and come back out and go, look, it changed a little bit, you know, so. I'm perfectly willing to bash my own, you know, it's nice. So how to observe? I'm going to see a ring, but it's still partial, it doesn't completely block it out. If you do have a total in April, and you go to a total, you don't need it. Once it goes to total, you can take your glasses off and everything, just watch it. And it's beautiful, the whole sky. You can look around the sky, and you can see the blue around you and the dark night over you. And songbirds come out. Lights on your car come on. It's fascinating. So, a couple things you can do. You can go out and go into debt, buy a 5D, Mark IV. I laugh about that because that's it was about a $4,000 camera. It no longer is the top echelon anymore. But you can go out by yourself what I call just plain old glass filters. And you can put this on your head, flip it up, flip it down. You know, you look real nerdy running around, you know. But you have to use either 12, 13, or 14 arc welding glass. I don't use 12. To me, it's a little too bright. 14 is a little too dark. You know, kind of like, you know, Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear. I go with 13. And it's not that expensive, but, you know, just a nice piece of glass. You can just hold it up if you want. Or you can buy these for $1. So, well, yeah, it all depends on it. You can put that in front of your camera, by the way, and I'll show it to you in just a moment. But you can take this, and for $1 you can cut it up. You put it in front of your lenses and take pictures. You know, tape it on. I don't think I glue it on, but tape it on. So, and then you can take, or you can, if you have arc welding glass, you can just put that over it too. I mean, now do understand, I'll show you, when you take a picture of the moon with your iPhone, you know how small it is. Now you can, on many of your cameras, zoom in, and you get a pretty decent picture. And then if you do some post-processing, which to a lot of people is taboo, I always laugh and say, well, I don't post-process, and I say, I don't know one professional that doesn't. But, you know, if that's your name to fame. Cameras are not as good at looking at things as your eyes are. Your eyes have a fantastic dynamic range. I can look underneath this desk and see detail. I shot a picture of it, it would be black, and you guys would all be exposed, but that would be black. Cameras aren't good. Post-processing, I can bring that. Well, look at that. Solar glasses. So. Now, if you want to have some fun, I shouldn't do this. You can take a bunch of teachers out and show them this and watch what happens. What you do is you make a box and you put a little pinhole here and you put some white paper back there and you stick your head through it. What's fun is it's hard to get it right on the sun, and the teachers put on there all running around, you know, So, anyway, teacher, I want to know how to make that. Sure you do. You can also use binoculars as long as you don't look through the binoculars. Any optical aid on your eyes is just destructive. But you can actually project that down a piece of white paper. Now, the key is that you kind of put something over your binoculars to kind of cut out the sun, the direct sun, and then you put that behind there. You can also bring this very close, and if you bring it close enough, you can start a fire. So, you can take a piece of cardboard and that and project it. I'll tell you what's fun, is take a colander, where you take your, okay? And now, what you do is when the sun gets close to 74%, take a look at the shadows coming through the trees, the leaves, and everything. There'll be crescents. Colander, all those holes will be little crescents. So, you got a colander, So, you can buy solar filters for binoculars. The only problem is when you do this, is to get the right size. Inside, outside diameter, okay. But a lot of them, and they're not that expensive. And you can go online. One of the most, and I'll show you some websites, is Thousand Oaks. I bet you can't guess where they are. Yeah, Thousand Oaks, California. Yep. So Thousand Oaks sells all sorts of different filters, and you can just pop them on your binoculars. Then it's safe to look through. So, I have that system. I have that system. So, everybody always says, well, how do you aim your telescope with all the filters on there? Simple. Get it so that it has no shadow. Okay? And it's aimed at the sun. You can do that with binoculars too. Anyway, I go out with my telescope, look at this. How'd you get the sun in there? Shadow. So how do you take pictures? Well, warning, and I always say this to everybody. Enjoy what's going on. Totality is very fleeting. They tell you to set your camera up to take a whole bunch of bracketed pictures, and by the time you take 2 or 3 bracketed sets, it's over. So, don't just take pictures. Enjoy what's going on. I plan to have a camera taking a picture of the surroundings as it gets dark, and then, get bright again. This isn't my first rodeo. Okay? But here's the problem. Everybody wants to go out and take pictures. I applaud you all. But this is with a 200 millimeter lens. That's the size of the sun. This is with a 400, 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 millimeter. Wow, 2,000 millimeter. I'll let you go out and buy one of those lenses. I own a camera that's 2,000 millimeter, but it's just not something that, unless you have a specific want or desire. Now, it's a great birding camera too, but that's what it'll look like through your phone. Now, you can always crop it, you can always enlarge it, and you got a picture. It may not have the quality. I don't think you want to go out and make a 32 by 24 canvas out of it and stick it on your wall. It will be, you'll have a picture. So here are your focal lengths. I think most of the iPhones are down in this range, 35 millimeter, and it makes a 0.3 millimeter image. Not 1 millimeter, I said 0.3. And then you can go down to there. So, some quick pointers to be safe and make sure you don't get yourself in any trouble, or if you have people out there that are with you so they don't get in trouble. Never look at the sun through any optical instrument or with your eye. And if you do flash, I always get phone calls. There's a solar eclipse that day, and I have people call me up. Is it safe to go outside? Yeah. Just don't look up at the sun for a long period of time. Oh. I said, do you normally go out and look up at the sun for a long period of time during the day? No. Well, then don't. It's perfectly fine. It's just that people see the sun is darkened and they think, well, I can look at it safely. It isn't the light that damages your eye. It's ultraviolet and infrared. It goes to the back of your retina. And we can make the old euphemism where the sun don't shine. Well, your retina because it normally doesn't have that intense a light. You want to be 400 millimeters or more on your lenses if you want to get a decent picture. I don't want to throw cold water at anybody, but you know, that's kind of what you want. You want to use a sturdy tripod so that, you know, you aim it at the sun. And the other thing, a lot of times if you have a, this is a mirrorless camera, the new trend, you know, they come out with new trends, so we have to buy new things. This is a mirrorless. Well,